Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich. All right, welcome to a video. And also, thank you for everyone that tuned in for the live stream yesterday with Sarah Frazetta. I've been meaning to mention this in the front end of my normal videos that YouTube, I don't remember how many months ago, but they switched where live videos sit. So when you go to someone's channel, if you're not like super into YouTube, you have to click on the live banner, and that's where all my live streams are stored now. It's a little confusing unless you're, like I said, if you're like really into YouTube, you'll know that. But I had some people saying that they were waiting for it to like come back online, and it's like it's there. So yeah, you'll see like videos, playlists, live. All my live streams are there. So definitely check them out because it's some of the stuff that I'm the most proud of. But anyway, as a lot of you know, if you've been following my channel the last like couple of weeks, I've been reading a ton of comics, which is unusual. Normally when I do my videos, they're more art focused, but I've been going back, and then, right now I'm reading the Image books because of the 30th anniversary. I thought it would be interesting to see how each title kind of kick things off. And so today I really was only going to read, I think, the first one or two issues of CyberForce, but I ended up reading the whole mini series. So I read all four of the like, it's not when the ongoing series starts after this, but anyway, we can get into it. I'm not going to summarize the whole story because four issues is a little bit too much, but we'll talk about it a little bit and some of my thoughts on like how it rolled out and stuff. And we can kind of compare it to Spawn, I guess, since I read Spawn the last few days. But anyway, so this is the cover. The cover is really nice. We've got the team: Impact, Heat Wave, Striker, Cyblade, I think she's Cyblade, and then Ripclaw. I'd kind of forgot that Ripclaw is a bear character. I don't know why it kind of escaped me, but you're reading it, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. He's sort of like a bear, like an Indian bear. So anyway, not a big deal, but just was kind of like, if you haven't read something in a million years. So we've got Velocity. She's running very, very fast here. It's like if you if you gloss over it, you wouldn't realize, but she's running 40 miles an hour, so she can run really, really fast. A little funny Easter egg here. There's a few in the books. I'll try to point out if I can remember. But it says Keown to do Pit for Image, so it was kind of a big deal that they were getting more creators on board to do Image titles, and it was a very, very exciting time in comics. You had the top talent from Marvel, mainly Marvel, doing their own books, writing them with other writers. Some of them were writing them themselves and creating these universes. So we've got Emp here, always a great thing. Mark really, really draws well. The one thing that you immediately notice looking at this book is the guy's got a great, great command of like a comic language, and boy, he's great. So it's always fun to see him drawing. I actually think in some ways, Mark, when he's got a fire under his ass, even delivers a little bit better than when he has a lot of time. So it's an interesting thing. He's good both ways, but he definitely, like, when the pressure is on, he'll draw like exceptionally like cool stuff. So we've got Ripclaw here. He's sort of pontificating sort of Ripclawian thoughts. The deer in the forest. One funny thing about Mark's book compared to Spawn was what do they call him? It's not an anagram, like scuba, like self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. He has like a ton of words like that, almost to the point where it's like you're like, oh man, I hope he doesn't do any more, and then they keep coming and you're just like, oh god, this is like kind of corny. But it's, it's like the thing. But it was funny because it was like one after another. Very, very cool dynamic shot of Ripclaw, like very kick-ass 3-point perspective. He draws buildings great, looks really, really cool. The other thing that Mark did in his book that was quite different than Spawn was, Spawn really felt like a story. Todd was introducing characters, but this book definitely felt like sort of like everybody was going to get their sort of 1 to 2 page intro, and there was always something convenient where they would say their name and kind of like, that was their sort of introduction. so it was like the first issue. I didn't think the story was as good as it got. Like when you ultimately read the miniseries, and I won't actually even spoil it for you. Um, uh, it works. It works as 4 issues. I don't know if the first issue past the point that if you just want to, like, you know, quick introductions to a bunch of characters and sort of a fight where, you know, like they're like, again, more sort of like just giving you the names and like abilities that the characters will do. This is cool. So they've got the mutant thing where, you know, mutants want equal rights. Very, very X-Men sort of, you know, base thing. They're going to assassinate this guy that's running for office. There's some really interesting computer stuff in here, though, that was fascinating because this book came out, you know, like in '92. So it wasn't, you know, home computers and a lot of the things that they're talking about. It's interesting. It was in some ways felt a little ahead of its time based on, you know, my own impressions of things. So I thought that was kind of neat. Again, just great pencils, great inks. The colors are always really, really kick-ass. Overall, the writing itself, like in terms of like the actual like phraseology and stuff that they use, it works pretty good, and it's not overly sort of generic. I mean, some of the stuff that they say is, but overall, I mean, it actually, the dialogue reads well. Sometimes it, like, I don't know, you just don't sync up with the writer, and you almost feel like you're kind of fumbling over their words. I didn't really get that feeling with this. So that was nice. This was weird. I really didn't think that this is Mark. If it is, I'm not sure why it looks so different, but it didn't. It feels like an extra pinup that was maybe put in this book to fill space. I could be wrong though. I would have to go back and look at my comic to see if it's in it. But yeah, it felt a little like an extra page, and I didn't feel like it was drawn by Mark. I don't know. It just didn't feel like it. But it's you know, I didn't see it listed as anything else. But anyway, it was my own sort of. Kind of was like, is that Mark? So Cyblade, she's cool. I mean, all the characters are actually really cool. There's one really, really funny character in here that I totally forgot about. Buck something, Buck Wild. No, I don't know. His name isn't Buck Wild. He's like a deer bad guy. Kind of funny. He never got his own book. So let's see. Well, you don't like that joke, Kitty? I'm sorry. This is cool. He draws great alleys. It's interesting too, is you know, someone that's drawing a comic book right now. I'm always fascinated to see how people handle character versus environment. And Mark will give you like enough environment to really sort of, you know, you get the impression of where stuff is, but he's not opposed to just dropping it out completely at times, and you know, just you sort of have either an explosion behind a character or you know, swirling smoke and energy and whatnot. And so you know, some people do a lot of backgrounds, others don't. If I was directing myself, I would tell myself to do less backgrounds and focus more on characters, but have nice backgrounds when you do put them in, because environments are important for sure. It's nothing that I would gloss over, but at the same time, I think maybe my fascination with someone like a Tomo would make me want to at least occasionally really kind of blow people's minds with like a city scene. And Mark does that, not in these issues, but I mean the spread had it though, actually. This is nice, really very straight perspective in the background. It's unusual that he gets so sort of like that. These reproductions in this collection are okay. I think maybe on paper it would print better, but they feel a little soft, and maybe like it's like a scan of a scan. Always the comic books always tend to look better, in my opinion, than the digital files. The digital files, you'll see them and you'll go, oh, this looks really, really good. These don't, but others will. And then you grab out the book and you go, oh man, it even looks better. So. But nice dynamic shot of Ripclaw. I think I might have even turned this one gray for myself. I wanted to just see what some of this stuff looked like in black and white. This was not an easy page to do. The line work was a little too decayed from what the file quality. I was just kind of curious to see what it looked like. This one did turn gray pretty good, though. Watch, I'll do this. It's kind of fun to see them in black and white. Kind of do this a couple times, and then I'll just use the dodge tool. But yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to see this stuff in pure black and white. Again, it's not like a artist edition type representation of it, but why I like to see pages in black and white is I like to see what the balance of black versus lines are. You know, and the first thing I'm thinking now in 2023 is like, how would this read on Instagram? Like, if I shared this, would this have enough pop to get likes? It's a sad state of affairs that you have to consider stuff like that. But you know what I mean? It's like something like this at a phone size shrunk down is not going to read very clear. You know, you'll get a few attaboys for it, but overall, it's not going to impress like some sort of thing that fits very well into you know, an Instagram or whatever social media thing that you're sort of trying to hustle on. You know, this is a great spread, but you know, I don't know. I mean, it's actually fairly well balanced. I always feel like black behind everything always makes things pop. I don't know if let me see if this will even work. I'll just try this for a second. If I drop black here, will it? Oh no. The lines are too pixelated, so there's gaps, so it's just going everywhere. I don't know what I'm like, but anyway. So yeah, pretty cool in black and white, right? The image stuff is sometimes hard to do it to. Old Marvel reprints are easier, but sometimes with image they color over the line art, and then it's really, really difficult to make like a fake black and white version of the book. Any kind of airbrushy stuff over the lines, you're not gonna be able to do it. So she's a very, very cool character. I've always liked her. Ballistic. She's super cool. She even had her own book that I think what was Michael Turner drew it, right? Was it like a mini series? But the other thing with Mark is he really can draw good small faces. Like they never well, I mean, he'll sometimes cartoon stuff, but like her face, like she still looks hot, like even at that size head. There are some actually pretty funny lines of dialogue in this that like if you read it, you'll catch them. But there was a couple of times where I was like, oh God, did someone really write that? It was like, can't hide from cyber data. Them's is the facts, little girl. All right, let's see what we got. Lots of pages. So this is Mother. What's she called? I can't think of her name. Is it Mother May I don't know. We'll figure it out later. But it's pretty cool. She's kind of hyper focused on the Statue of Liberty and sort of sees it symbolic of sort of her struggles, and you know, watching over the mutants kind of deal. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. This guy's a troublemaker. Kimata-san. He's got a relationship with her, but you'll see what happens later. There's a little bit of sexual tension. All right, so we've got Velocity as a kid with her. She refers to this guy as not her father, so you find out later that there's more information to what's going on. This is her sister. So really, really nice drawings. Mark draws great kids. This is an awesome panel right here. The mother's hands are cool. He always puts just enough information to make the clothes look awesome. The dad looks like a jerk. He's going to go beat up the little kid down in the basement like jerky dads would do. It's a pretty cool page. I like how all the detail sort of falls out. It's like a little bit of like a Wolf's Portaccio kind of style layout. I don't know if you can hear that crow. There's a crow in my backyard going bananas. I might have to shut this. So now we've got Timmy and Chip. They may have already appeared, and I was just sort of... they did a few pages back, actually. But anyway, Timmy. He's a robot boy. I can't remember. I think Chip built him. They basically say that Velocity is free to go, or she can have a Sammy. She opts for the Sammy and Stain, which is... yeah, it's always a good call. You want that Sammy, especially if it's free. All right, so anyway... Timmy and Chip show all their toys that they've built, and they're all animatronic, and we've got little CC here, and all this kind of cool stuff going on, and then the action's going to start to ramp up. Kaboom! Oh, we've even got a Pit crossover in 3, which is pretty cool. Pit was appearing in everyone's books. Shocks. SHOCS. Here they come. There's cops. There's all kinds of these. Here we go. Nice splash page. We could probably get this pretty close to gray. Or white, black and white. I keep calling it gray. Oh, this guy's going to vanish, though. Bummer. That sucks. Bye-bye. You could like lasso him and keep him out of this if you really wanted to turn this black and white. But I just want to see some of the page in black and white. Yeah, I would say Mark is like the one guy who I'm always kind of curious about his process. Like if did he always lay out like on the big board and then just draw his pages over his rough that he, you know, like are his thumbnails? I've seen thumbnails of his. I have a bunch of copies of some thumbnails. But yeah, I never was really sure how he transfers it to the big board. If he would just go in and sort of draw it all out on the big board. It's hard to say. He's so good. I mean, he could probably do it anyway once, obviously. But, you know, I mean, usually artists will have a method that they prefer just for, you know, workflow. Okay, so we finished the first issue. The bad guys show up. The good guys show up. I remember as a collector waiting a long time for issue 2. If I ever talk about CyberForce, that's usually one of the things that I will mention at some point, is that there was an extraordinary long wait between issues 1 and 2. And I could be remembering it wrong, and maybe it was issues 2 and 3, but I felt like I had like a little bit of CyberForce, and I really liked it and wanted to read more, and I just had to wait forever. You could check by the dates that these shipped. I didn't pay attention to the first one. So this is March. Let's see really quick, and I'm kind of curious. Well, we'll worry about it later. Really cool. This character is wild. These are all cool. We've got Killjoy. I can't remember some of the other ones right off the top of my head. They have their names on this. Maybe not. He has a tendency, or I was trying to remember if Mark wrote this or if Eric Silvestri wrote it, but anyway, a lot of his pages will always have like the day of the week and time. I didn't really feel like it was necessary, and it didn't really enhance the story for me very much reading it, but it was there kind of over and over again, but because the story didn't really feel like a ticking clock story enough. There wasn't enough tension built by what was going on, although it's an intense thing that's going on. But yeah, I didn't feel like they were chasing the clock every moment, where the time of the day and everything mattered. Just sort of seemed like it was bonus information you got. Which is super cool. Alright. She throws her blades. Who's the better person? Her or Velocity? She gets her. She knocks Velocity down. That's it. You're fast, not as fast as her. Alright. We got the team running. It's interesting because I don't know who inked all these pieces. I know Mark sometimes would ink his stuff. This definitely doesn't look like Scott Williams, but I'm not sure who inked this, but it's definitely a little more sort of meaty beady. And it could have been Mark inking this, but it's still nice. It's still a little bit different. When Scott Williams inks them, it's very accurate. This has a little bit more of a sort of organic like line to it. And then what I'll do is I'll follow this up with, we'll check out David Finch as he enters into the CyberForce thing, kind of like as did with Capullo taking over Spawn for Todd. It'll be fun to see Finch's transition into the book. Big shoes to fill, you know. There's no two ways about it. Mark is one of the greats. And he no joke. He keeps the guns fairly simple, but they're nicely drawn. You know, like I don't need more detail on them, but he doesn't put a lot of black on them. There's a little bit of shadows on these, but if you look around in other times, there's not a ton. So we're going through like 80 pages of art, so we're going to kind of hustle past some of these. But anyway, we've got the fight. Timmy and Chip are hiding out. Timmy Chips. She gets flung through the air as Impact punches his hand into the ground, and the force of it makes them fly around. It's going to be okay, Timmy. Striker's here. He's got 4 arms and likes to party with the ladies. Oh yeah, this two-headed character comes up in the Pit issue, and I really like the girl that they were with. That was like, she was super cool, I thought. Although she doesn't do much in the story, but I remember when those characters were introduced, going like, "Ah, man, it's crazy." So we got this dude. There's another great double page spread with this guy that comes up, but man, he's massive. So cool looking. And punches him in the nuts. No. Her age varies a little tiny bit sometimes by the way that he draws her. It's not the crime of the century, but like she looks a little tiny bit older here than she does in some of the other drawings, but you know. So, Striker and... Oh, Ballistic. Sorry, I hope I wasn't calling her Sideblade the whole time. But yeah, Ballistic face off here. So, but again, you can kind of see how simple the guns are. Like this panel. I'd be tempted to put a bunch of stuff on the side of this here. He's got a little bit more here. But very attractive. He pulls the chins out quite a lot. So you'll sometimes see quite an angle to like his girls' faces. Sometimes it can even get away from him. Not so much when he was at Image, but sometimes on his Marvel stuff, the faces would get a little drawn out. But it's kind of, I don't know, it sort of worked for him in a way. But they could definitely look a little strange sometimes. This is really good. I love the his body looks great. I love seeing all the arms, and then this head angle is really cool. And he's down. 3-panel page, in and out, gigantic shot of this dude getting creamed, no backgrounds. That's what it's about. That's what it was about. All right, here we go. See, she looks much younger here. Do you see what I'm saying? So it varies just a little bit, because like here she looks like she could be maybe like 9, and sometimes she'll look like she's like in her late teens. I like these kind of panels. Mark always does them really good. The sort of like the team standing there shot from this distance, like the way he breaks up the lines. You could see it with when Dan Green would ink him, and this is really cool too. I love the suggested like tore up machinery and the wall ripped apart and stuff like that. It really looks good. Timmy. All right, this is a pretty cool scene. So this gas station is like a front for I don't remember, Cyber Data, one of them. I think the good guys go down here. Anyway, but one funny thing that he did, another little Easter egg, is he's got Wolverine 50 or 25 cents inside the store. I thought that was kind of funny. So that would have been the was that his last? No, he did a few issues after 50 for Wolverine, I think. I think he went up to maybe Oh gosh, I'd be guessing. I was looking at him this morning a little bit, actually. Anyway, this is very cool. I like the way that he drew the gas station. I think both of these shots of the gas station are super, super cool. It's just enough detail, too, and it really looks good. But they drive in here, and this is pretty neat. It goes down into a secret place. Mutants. Always about the mutants. Here we go. So these guys are... Oh, what are they called? We'll figure out in a second. They have a kind of funny name, but one of them's German. The other guy is British. He's kind of a ladies' man, so he has a lot of sort of sexually inappropriate jokes. And this guy is just all about like wanting to beat people up. And her, oh, they're called Splitzkrieg. But yeah, I really like her. She's fun looking. She looks like she's like part elf or something. Oh, she's Miss Wildfire. Yeah, I really like her. Sorry, I'm sniffling a little bit. I've got really bad allergies today, so I'm like kind of... We had a ton of rain, and it's finally dried out, and now whatever is growing post-rain is like... got me all stuffy. This is cool. Very classic image, kind of rendering on the faces and the lighting and stuff like that. If you were a fan of the image or were drawing around this time, you probably picked up a few of those techniques in your style. Nice big headshot. This is funny. They try to talk him into like doing this like crazy mission, and it's like it takes him like one sentence to convince him. He's like, it's also called staying alive, and then he's like, I'll do it. He's sweating though. This is an intense moment for him. Oh, he was working out, though, too. I take it back. All right, so Timmy, although he's incredibly intelligent, he's still only a 3-year-old boy. So she drops an orange as they're walking the parking lot, and he's telling her about the nitrates and hot dogs being bad for her. So they contain nitrates that cause carcinogens in your system. Anyway... She's going to eat the orange, drops it, rolls into the street, and look at what Timmy does. No, Timmy, no! And anyway, Splitzkrieg drive right into a car, crashing to avoid him as they're going to run a mission. This all gets crazy. And then he slaps Velocity, which I found a little... I was like, whoa, buddy, whoa. And then he makes a sexually inappropriate joke. Later. But anyway, these guys are pretty cool, like, kind of trippy. So anyway, but yeah, and there's this other dude in the car too, this guy. I can't remember his name. You can see my retention of reading stuff is low right now. I'm working up to it. I was kind of daydreaming while I was reading this, to be honest. I have a lot, like, I'm trying to plan and do. I've got a book, Comic-Con, so I was, like, working on that. It's funny, Timmy eats the disc, gets all the information, but he also gets a virus. And they steal Velocity's van, and then they're driving it, and then this dude shows up. And next, we've got Enter Pit, which he was called at one point The Pit. And then he turned into Pity Pit. All right, so cover of number 3. Classic. So this apparently, it's listed as May, so between March and May these two came out, but again, what you want to find out is how long was it between issue 1 and issue 2. So let's peek. I'm curious. Oh, this one doesn't have it. It doesn't have it on it. That's funny. Hold on. Does it have the original cover? No. Bummer. Well, I'll look it up online and I can pin it. But yeah, it was like... Aight. So, cover art is Marc Silvestri, Scott Williams, and Joe Chido. A great team, if ever there was one. Alright. This kind of has like a little bit of Walter Simonson vibe. And it's ironic is I think Walter Simonson did the 0 issue of CyberForce. I didn't open it because it would have been way overkill. We've got enough to look at as it is. But anyway, very, very kick-ass shot. This is really, really cool. The arms look really awesome. This is funny. They're all driving in the car, and they drive into a hole. And this double-page spread that's coming up right now is super cool. You ready? Are you ready? Bam! Love the colors on this. There we go. Yeah, so they're climbing out of the roof of the car, but the car is in the hole, and then this is that other guy that's with them. So it was a little weird. When I originally saw it, I was like, it's weird, like the height that the people are standing at for them to be climbing out of the roof of the car. But then when you consider that, again, it's dropped down in a hole, this is like street level. A little bit of artistic liberty with it, but it works. So we got fight in the streets, and again, no indication that it's in the streets. So for people that are aspiring pencilers, you can kind of do your own due diligence with how you would see this, if you would have a little bit of buildings in the background or people scrambling, or if you would leave it out. It's kind of like personal taste. Because you know, it's interesting. Mark has people with multiple arms, and he does people with multiple bodies. So he's a little bit that's kind of his thing, not his only thing, but a thing that he does that not all the image artists did. I thought this was really good. It gets very cartoony right here, but his face is great, and this is really cool, and this is awesome right here. Man, it's good. Yeah, Mark is great. Such an excellent penciler. Super handsome. Impact. This gets a little, inks are a little sketchy here. Yeah, you know, the whole page, actually, it's not that the inks are bad on this page, but it definitely feels a little different than some of the other stuff that's been inked in the book so far. Mark would be tough. You know, the thing is if when you're thrown into a situation where you're inking someone like Mark and you haven't inked him before, there's decisions that you have to make about how literally are you going to follow the lines that he puts down, because he gives you all the information, but you know, maybe he draws the hair always too big, and you kind of have to rein it in a little bit. Like every time you ink his hair, you sort of lower it just a little bit. You know, it's not like even something that you notice you're doing, but you know, someone else new comes on him and does the hair like exactly like Mark penciled it, and it might look too weird, or this might look like he's bald on the side of his head, or the lines on the nose. You know that you should straighten him out, or you got to watch his eyes. Sometimes his eyes are crooked or whatever it is, and you kind of key in on the sort of areas that you need to massage things a little bit more. But yeah, when you're first experiencing inking someone, you don't have that barometer of what's going to work or not. Pro tip. Again, he's great with this size drawings. Always, they're always so good. I was really impressed with this. The information that here. We'll turn this gray just for this panel. I don't need to see the whole page. I just want to see this. How much he leaves out of velocity, like her figure. But I mean, when you see it in color, she not only looks pretty, but it's kind of all there. Like it feels like it's all there. But you know, again, this is a little bit destroyed from what it would look like in the probably like on an original. But you get the idea. But I mean, there's like, he doesn't have like all of her face drawn. Her, you know, body is kind of suggested, but you know, you see it in its final format. And it really just looks cool, you know. I think most people, the temptation would be to draw it all out, you know, to have it like fully sort of realized there. This guy is super weird looking. He's like super mutant. And the reporter is real pretty. She looks like the reporter that Todd draws. So I think that they probably went like, hey, you know, when you do news reporters, let's all use the same news reporter. And it'll be kind of a fun little sort of thing that keeps like a little bit of consistency between all of our books. Yeah, this guy takes her hostage, which was a little surprising. It's no way to win the humans over for your mutant cause. Here he is, buck naked, the reindeer superhero. He's not really called Buck Naked, but I can't remember his name. They'll say it. So a Warbuck. He should be called Daddy Warbucks. How did Warbuck not become more popular? It's funny, there's a scene where he's fighting and he's running at like a different angle, and I think Mark went like, you know what, screw these antlers. Although, I mean, they wouldn't be that hard to draw, but it's like stuff like that can be a little sort of annoying. But yeah, Warbuck. Who knows? Maybe Warbuck went on to do great things and I just am not aware of it. You let me know what the fate of Warbuck was. Did he just slowly sort of vanish from the CyberForce thing? This is such a great face, and the color on it looks so cool. But really, really nice. Again, there's so many open lines on Mark's stuff. It's crazy. Like, I remember Tom McWeeny had 2 photocopies of Marc Silvestri stuff from CyberForce up on his wall that were just always there. Whenever I would sit and talk to him in his office, I'd always kind of sit and stare at him. And, oh, they were cool. But, like, look at that. I always feel like when you can draw like this, it really makes it look like you know what you're doing. You're such a badass, you can just, like, leave gaps. Most of us will connect these because we're too scared. Not Mark. He's not scared. He draws with no fear. That's how good he is. All right. Here we go. Where's your mother? Or wait. Do you know where your mother is, Timmy? I don't have a mother. Oh, yes, you do, Timmy. I'm your mother. This is great. I love him sitting there in the little chair and her talking to him. All groovalicious. Silvestri-alicious. All right, here's Pitt. Similar to Dale Keown, he's passed out on a couch. Is this foreshadowing? No. Anyway, his name's Pitt. He had a rough night, needed a place to crash. Not the kind of guy you can say no to. All right, well, there you go. So Pitt's sacked out on a couch in a garage, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't look like they went very far in the garage, so I guess there's just a flowered couch in the garage, and we got Pitt asleep on it. It's a little tough to read this. I mean, I see that this is his leg and boot, and then this is his arm, but I definitely was kind of like going like, what is this right here? Is this part of the couch? I couldn't really tell what this area was. That looks like it might be some of his hair or something, but yeah, I don't know. It wasn't super clear, but anywho. All right, the team. We've got the cyber plane, the cyber team, the van tire, heat wave coming in hot, and then boom, cool explosion. How many panels were on this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nice page. I like how he turned the angle. I like this angle of the city. He did a good job with this too, like having everybody on the plane, like gave everybody like a nice amount of real estate. This dude looks awesome. There's Pitt. Rawr. There was this weird part of me that wanted Pitt's mouth open in this drawing. Like, I wanted it open with, like, his fangs bared and, like, a little bit of spit. Because it rhymes with Pitt. But, yeah, I kind of thought that would be cool. But this is a great shot right here. These two run into each other. Or whatever. Impact running towards Pitt. Pitt's about to knock his ass out. But yeah, really, really fun drawings. Super good. I love this arm back here. This is great. Pitt's pose is awesome too. I thought this was cool. He really pulls out the detail on this. It's very funny because this is like one of the most like simplified renderings that he's done in the book for some reason, which is unusual for a big splash. Because usually you would think that that's kind of when you ramp it up. But I actually really like how he drew like the angle of Pitt's head and his neck and stuff like that. It looks a little long, but it really looks cool too. But yeah, it's kind of weird. Like I would have almost thought that there would be more detail in this. Okay. All right. More people coming forward. That is one thing with Mark's stuff is Mark does more front views than some artists, at least at this time. You know, it can be challenging to do front views. I know it's a thing that people tend to gravitate towards, but it's not easy to do storytelling pages and constantly have front views because you're not really in the scene. So it's a lot of sort of like it feels like you're communicating with the talking to the reader or something. He moves the camera around enough. It's not noticeable though. Also, usually when people do a lot of front views, they're stuck on front views. They can't do the other stuff. Mark can. That's the caveat to why he can get away with it more. He really constructs figures well. Like like he just uses like shapes that just work. You know, the way that he sort of sets up his arms and the anatomy and stuff like that. Very effective. He's able to knock this stuff out in what looks to be a pretty efficient way. This is really nice. Third panel is really good. Her hitting Pitt was pretty funny in this. And then this guy shows up. This was a pretty cool little pose. Her sort of leaping and doing the what's his name? Jean-Claude Van Damme-ish kind of thing. Bam. Let's fight him. You could see this double page spread is super, super busy compared to that other splash we were looking at. I love this. This shot of Pitt right here is great. And this all looks really cool under here. God, Mark's good. He is excellent. All right, and then this is the end of this issue. I believe this is the last page. So we've got, this is the third issue that we're wrapping up here. They are looking heroic. And no one will admit it, but the scent of fear is unmistakable. This is Ripclaw. He always has deeper thoughts than everyone else. That's how he rolls. Oh, no, there was this little flashback to the mom. Apparently they had a bad fire. But this is Velocity, her sister, and then mom. Goodbye, Karen. So we know her name now, which she'll start to share with the other people in the story. Come back. Was it a dream? Yes, it was a bad dream. Same one over and over. It's going to be okay. Because look at Timmy. They put him in a cell that he can breach through. That's some good capturing capabilities that these guys have. They really thought it out. Kid can squeeze through the bars. Timmy. All right, so he gets him out, and then they're going to leave together. The Tim Man. All right. Mother May I. So she is Mother May I. Getting to where I can almost... She's kind of talking about the Statue of Liberty thing again. She won't let up on it. Oh, and there's our guy, Buck Wild. He's right there. Roebucks. What is it? Daddy Roebuck? Roebuck? Warbuck. There's probably one person that's watching this that loved Warbuck. It could totally be. And if you do, that's fine. There's Warbucks. Look, he's shooting his guns. Pew, 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 pew. Get him, Warbucks. Pating, patang. Uh-oh, Warbucks got shot. Does he die? Maybe I didn't even notice the Warbucks. Does Warbucks get killed? I hope not. Come on, Warbucks. You gotta pull through, buddy. Come on. Alright, what do we got? I like this. Look. Strikers carrying Warbucks. Classic Marc Silvestri creepy dudes. And then her, even with the hand over her face, she's still pretty. Alright. Warbucks, he's seen better days. He needs to go rest. He's going to the lodge. The Elks Lodge. Alright, here's our mutant. The creepy mutant. It's hard to feel sorry for this guy or sympathetic, you know? I get that not everyone is going to look human. Not everyone's going to be, you know, that. But he's scary looking. He's doing bad stuff, too. It doesn't help. Alright. She looks cool there. This is awesome. Another great little drawing. Again, this is Mark's money. He can do big good. And man, he can nail this size figures. Alright. They're going down the shaft. Click, cling, click, clang. Down. There's Warbucks. He looks fine. He's going to be okay. Alright, so last issue. There was a lot more pages than I thought. So shut this. Yeah. Now, this issue does have some spoilers. Honestly, if you do want to read it, I would read it, and then you could come back and see this. I'm not going to say the spoilers, but there's like the story, I think, really comes together in this issue. So if you are interested in reading it, read it, and then you could come back and watch this last part. So anyway, we got Strike on the cover. Really nice drawing, actually. It's actually very nice. But yeah, like a piece like this, like on 11 by 17 board, this is a gigantic head. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Mark could do it just like sketching it on the paper and then finishing it. But I wonder for his comic work if that's how he did it. I just don't know. I don't know. Really, really cool. It was interesting. I pulled up some of his Wolverine. I was looking all over for my Marvel Essentials. I've got the John Buscema Wolverine one in here, but I don't. Issue 2 and 3 I don't seem to have in here right now. But I wanted to look at his Wolverine work, and because it's funny when you see with this image color, it looks different, but this is more similar to what he did on Wolverine than his X-Men work, the old X-Men work. The old X-Men work doesn't really, like, it's not this level of stuff. So, Wolverine was leaning more this way. I guess it was like a little bit of like a Jim Lee influence on his stuff. I think, you know, definitely they seem to sort of have some similarities at this point. Goodbye, Karen. I won't forget you. Good boy, Timmy. You're a good boy. All right, Mother May I. She's doing cool stuff. Got a cool cape. She's got her fist in the air. Like she just don't care. All the other mutants are getting on board. Mother May I. Very exciting day for mutants. Boom. Very sexy lady. It was like the pose almost reminds me of like an Adam Hughes kind of thing from back in the like 80s or 90s, like if you did a swimsuit piece or something. But the face is a little more Mark. But Impact looks really cool right here. This is great. And we've got all of our characters. Mr. Shifty Shifterson over here looking mischievous and shadowy. Really cool lighting on his face, actually. And this robot dude is cool. Some interesting references to guns. I wasn't 100% sure if these are like real weapons. I mean, they probably aren't, but KZ-24 submachine guns. Those could be real, or K224. We've got a PG-17 assault rifle, and then an ML342 automatic cannon. I don't know if it's just like stuff that he made up for the book or not. So Stryker and Mother May I start to make out, and Mataki Karasaki does not like it. Whatever the guy's name is, he's not happy at all. In fact, he calls her a slut, I think. Oh, Kamada-san, that's his name. Yeah, he's not thrilled about this because it's kind of his main squeeze, I think. I was trying to remember who this character is. So this guy keeps talking kind of like from somewhere else. I was trying to remember like a reveal of him to picture what he looks like with his hair and all that. But I couldn't remember him. Like I can't picture Silvestri drawing him. I can't picture Finch. But I'm sure at some point they revealed him. They would have had to. He seems like a playa. Pulling the strings. So Velocity's in bad shape. There's some really nice upshots here. Got this is pretty cool. This is really nice. Keeps her looking pretty too at a shot like this, which is not easy to do. Again, let's check it out. Right. Or white, black and white. Yeah, it's crazy. Timmy, what are you doing, boy? All right. Another upshot with the face. It's cool. But again, like, do you see, like, here she looks like she's, like, 7. She gets real small. She was driving, though, right? When they went to the grocery store, she was bigger. I thought these were, like, kind of interesting little drawings. It's like a camera crew, but, like, they're wearing sort of like the corn jumpsuits. But these guys, look at how trippy they are. They look like little Mignola drawings. Are you ready? Ripclaw's ready. Yarl. Yarl. Alright. So the drive-in, train's coming. Oh my god. This is so much exciting stuff. These guys show up. This is kind of funny, though. He's like, place looks deserted. There's like 20 million people coming down above him. He can't hear that? He's a freaking superhero. Come on, dude. Anyway. They have to fight all these dudes now. This is really, really cool. I hate this. It's too quiet. Oh yeah, this. Look at this. This double page spread is great. This was like when I opened it up the first time, I was like, whoa. That's crazy. I didn't remember this piece at all, but man, that is great looking. So this guy's Buzzcut. That's his name. Pretty incredible drawing. Man alive. That is some massive shapes. He's got like 3 arms with the saws on it. Like big skill saws. Whatever they're called. Some gnarly shit. Oh, I gotta get out of full screen. This is nice. He really does these big characters great. That guy's body is gigantic, man. It's crazy. This is cool. He draws these great too. Again, very nice colors throughout the whole book. I thought they really did some nice colors. It's like kind of, you know, bright colors too, and it works most of the time really well. I mean, it definitely has a unique look. A lot of rendering on that face, but not overkill, honestly. Like, it's like, you know, I like seeing it now. I mean, you'd spend, you know, 45 minutes on that face rendering it. It would be pretty fast in pencils, especially if you knew exactly, like, you'd done these types of like rendering on faces, which Mark has done a million times. You could pencil that pretty quick. It would take a little longer to ink it just to keep it neat, but you know, I hated these backgrounds. Like, that's not so bad, but there was a point where like every freaking panel that people would draw, they would throw this shit in. And it was like, oh, God, it's so annoying inking it all the time. Luckily, it kind of came and went, and the pencilers I was working with didn't do it a lot. But, yeah, some people, that was like their background of choice. The rules have been changed. Here we go. Get him, Buzzcut. Buzzsaw. Buzz. A really cool shot. I remember when I was looking at the comic the first time, I was checking out like how he drew her legs, like where the anatomy goes and stuff like that, the muscles, whatnot. Again, pretty rough inks. Now I don't know if like if you saw the original, if the inks would be rough. These are like they're a little scratchy, but it could just be the reproductions. That I have kind of like a bookshelf with all my Marc Silvestri at my storage. I could like check and see what the original printed comics look like, because it probably is way more tight. These are cool, nice little drawings of these guys kind of squaring off. I thought it looked really, really neat. Almost done, friends. This went a little longer than I thought, but it's alright. It's Silvestri. We're celebrating the 30th anniversary. We could give him 30 minutes. This is a great... It's so awesome. Then Ripclaw trips him. But yeah, that is a really, really cool drawing. Man, it's awesome. And again, just huge character. Man, he's gigantic. Alright. And we got Striker, Ballistic, Mother May I. There goes him off the building. He's going to fall 900 feet, they referred to. This guy's turning on her, so he's commanding this guard to like attack her. Striker comes in and blows the dude away. Excuse me. Told you my allergies are acting up. Oy. Alright. Really, really nice face here. She looks hot. She looks determined, heroic. This is all cool. Nice, intense moment. Gun drawn, taking some bullets to the wall. She makes him hold the gun up to his head, and then basically she's telling him to like kill himself, but there's no bullets in the gun, so he it's just kind of more of an intense moment. But so she couldn't, you know, you could argue that maybe it's like she didn't want to kill him because she still has feelings for him. But anyway, so we're about to wrap this up. Got the gunfight. Live grenade. Everybody get down. Boom. Not a very big explosion, though, to be honest. You know, you would have pictured, based on the intensity of the story and everything going up, this is pretty, like, interesting choice of panels. Very narrow. Kind of just sort of happens when we start getting these, like, flashbacks. And again, I won't get into the story, so if you want to read it, you can. But this is going on. Oh, I didn't open enough pages. There's still some more. Hold on, I'll go grab them. Anyway, this is in their house during the fire, and she's trying to rescue her sister, and then you start to realize who her sister is, and they're here. I'm not gonna let you go. I won't lose you this time. It's just like Dipper, or whatever that dude's name was. He's like, friends are for friends. So they start to fall. Amazingly, this guy's in the rubble somewhere down below, reaches out, grabs her leg, and saves all three of them. Now, he'd have to be very, very strong to pull them all up, but apparently he is that strong, so he does it. But hold on, let me get the other ones. Okay. Let me see if is this done? No, this is assignments and stuff. Oh, all right. Okay, here's this. This. Hold on, let me get it bigger. That way we don't mess up. It'll save us time. Hopefully everyone's doing well today. change the subject. Oh, dude, we have to look at these. Grab those too. That little short story is so badass. That's actually worth the inconvenience of me having to look for this thing. They're hanging off the building. Oh, I guess it was just one more page. Oh, it's funny. Okay, so I might have accidentally shut it earlier is what might have happened. No, I don't remember. So anyway, this is the final page of the story for the 4-part mini series. And again, there's a 0 issue that's drawn by Walter Simonson that probably most of you have if you collected these comics. I have it. And then really, really nice drawing of Ripclaw right here. And then, you know, everybody's sort of like telling Chip what happened while he was unconscious. Or whatever. He wasn't with them, so you know what went on. But anyway, this is awesome. I've looked at this before, but this is like a little short story. Oh my god. I love these drawings. Like, this is so badass. Looks really, really cool. And then we got this. We got this. Oh my god, what did we build? You know what you built. You built a monster. Striker. All right. You guys have an awesome day. I hope that everyone's drawing if you're an aspiring artist. And get off YouTube. Get off social media. Focus on your art. You dip in and dip out quick. You throw something up on Instagram and you get the hell out of there. I don't want to see you liking my posts 3 seconds after I upload them. Especially if you're an aspiring artist. I know what you're up to. You're goofing around online. I'm watching you guys. How many pros tell you not to like their posts? This is how unusual I am. But yeah, you got to make sure that you're focused on your art. So, all right, you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you later. I'll be back tomorrow with something else. I'm gonna read. I want to read something a little beyond Image, so I don't know what I'm going to pick. I read a little bit of Punisher War Journal the other day, some of the Jim Lee issues from Punisher War Journal magazine in black and white. It was cool. Storytelling was a little confusing. Carl Potts laid him out and Jim finished him, but there was definitely some stuff in the story that I didn't feel like read clearly, but, you know, when you're jumping in the middle of a story, stuff can have been established in an issue or two before, and they're kind of assuming that you know it, and then you come in and you're like, who is this person, or what is this about? So, could have been something like that. But anyway, all right, you guys have a great day. I'm going to get to work. Later.